Welcome to Truth and Company Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, John the Truth Dioria, and tonight we have another segment of 20 random questions. And your guest tonight is professional boxer Tim Taggart. How you doing tonight, Tim?
Hey, thanks for having me on, John. I'm doing real great. Thank you. I've been just running around. I just had golf league tonight, so it's been kind of a
Well, I appreciate you
chaotic.
coming
Yeah.
on, man. I heard you're a busy guy, so we can talk about that in a minute. So, you just said you just came from golf league. Is that where you just came from?
Yep, just had golf league. So yeah, I started like a couple of years ago, just kind of like almost like a summer killer, but it kind of took control. So I bought all the clubs and spent all that money, and so now
Okay,
we
so
got playoffs
it's a
next
new
week,
it's a
but
new hobby.
yeah, fairly new. Yep. So like 2 years, 2.5 years. Yep.
Okay, so you ready to do these random 20 questions?
Yeah, 100%. Fire away, man. I'll answer them as honest as I can.
All right, question one. How did you get involved in the sport of boxing?
Yeah, how I got started is like I come from a reservation in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, so that's like hour south of Rapid City. And my dad actually used to fight. He was in the Army, but he boxed for Army. So after he got discharged from the Army, we went back to the res and he started up his own club. And then me being that little, I'm his oldest kid, he would drag me to the club every day, so I was there from, age 2 on up, and then that just kind of grew on me. And then when we moved to Minnesota, like that was the first thing we had to look for, just because, it's such a big sport for like Native Americans is boxing. So like when we came up to Minnesota, I was like, all right, we got to find a club right away. So that's kind of how it all started with my dad.
Okay. All right, question two. So, why did you stop boxing after you became a pro for a couple of years? You stopped boxing, you left the ring for like 10 years. That's a long time. Some guys take a break for a year or two, but you were gone for 10 years, and then eventually you decided to try to come back. So, can we talk about why you were gone for 10 years?
Yeah, 100%. So let me backtrack to 10 years ago. So would have been like 24 or something like that. But anyways, like after one of my last fights with at that time, anyways, my eye got split open pretty good. So going through it was like 35 stitches they had to go and say, yeah, you almost lost your eye and that stuff. And I just had a family that I have. I just had another little kid. I have 2 now, so it just kind of like, all right, I got to start thinking about career and medical and all this other stuff. And then like quite honestly, like battling like mental illnesses too with suicidal thoughts and all that stuff, that all played a factor of like I need to like reset my life, alcoholism, addiction. So I mean it was a whole list of stuff why it's like why that 10 years took so long to come back, because like quite honestly I was just going through like any other human, right? I just went through my own shit, and yep. And eventually, like, I'm sober now for 4 years, like we talked about earlier, but it took a lot of effort and a lot of reasons why that layoff was so long. I don't know if that answered it enough.
No, that's fine. And then, but what made you decide though after that you wanted to actually come back? Because 10 years is a long time. I mean, I understand getting the depression under control and getting the alcoholism or the addictions under control, but then you also decided to get back in the ring. And everybody knows that once you stop training and all that stuff, that's really hard to reset. And you reset all that after 10 years. That's a long time. So I mean, that's a lot of dedication that you had to put back in to get back in that ring.
Yeah. Okay. So I skipped that back. So after, I left the previous job, that was kind of a toxic job. So that was like another factor of kind of my addictions and everything like that. But when I came back, I moved back. I was living south of the state. So when I came back, I moved back to Hinckley like 4 years ago, and like got right back into the Mashaqua. I think you've been there before, right? So that's the community center
Yep.
right next to Grand Casino Hinckley. So anyways, we got hired on over there, and then like fitness has always been like a big aspiration for me. So part of my recovery and everything has been like the fitness portion. So just having that background of boxing, like they asked me to help them start the club there. So me and Ryan O'Brien, we picked it up and we started doing boxing club and everything like that. And then just kind of the person I am, like now I'm getting back into shape, just personal training and stuff like that. Now I'm getting back into shape, right? And then holding all these classes. I'm the type of person that's like, I'm going to participate. I'm not going to be like just telling you what to do. I'm going to participate with you. So as the years went on, like I'm just participating, and it's kind of funny how it all happened actually, because I thought I was done. I was like, all right, I'm good being a trainer now. That's it. So Matt Robertson, he's athletic director for the commission for Mille Lacs Band. Like halfway jokingly, like this was a couple of years ago now, like the August before I took that fight in like October. So I was already in shape and everything like that. But anyways, he asked me like, so yeah, I see you up here in shape and looking at everything. It's like, what do you think about, fighting again? It's like, and I halfway joking. It's like, show me the money, kind of halfway joking. He's like, all right, we'll get you signed up. And then and then reached out to Corey, and Corey reached out to me and said, you know what? I was like, all right. I think it's like, this is the best I've ever felt in my life, actually, just physically in shape and, not dealing with a lot of the shit I was dealing with before. So, it's like, all right, I think it's time to try it again, and, I'm thank God that everybody actually supported me and everything like that through my journey.
No, they did. A lot of people came out, man. A lot of people were happy that you were back in the ring, because I was there at those last two fights, and there was a lot of people in your corner for those fights.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody. I've always been a fan, fan first fighter kind of thing.
All right. So question 3. Now you just brought up a minute ago that there's a lot of Native American fighters, and I want to talk about that because I don't think some of the fans realize that when they watch the pros. They see the black fighters, the white fighters, the Spanish fighters, and nobody's ever questioning where are all these pro Native American fighters, because there's so many Native American amateurs on different reservations and stuff. And so why do you, in your opinion, as a Native American that's lived on a reservation before, why do you think there's so many amateur boxers but hardly any of them turn pro?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I do see like on reses and everything, they'll have like the pro fighters and everything like that. I just don't think they're getting given the opportunity to be like in the limelight. I don't know if that makes sense. Like they're doing like a lot of like tiny shows and stuff like that, but like my Facebook's filled with obviously with a bunch of Native fighters and stuff like that. So I do know a good grip of them, but I just don't think they're getting the exposure. There's some good talent. There's a lot of talent, but honestly, I think it's just they're almost like hidden behind the scenes for whatever reason. I don't know. So I think that should, they should get onto some bigger cards and stuff like that. But like, I think it's just the lack of like exposure, to be quite honest. So there are some fighters. Yeah.
You don't think any of it has to do with their own personal as far as like they're so used to living on the reservation with their friends, their family, that's pretty much all they know, and if they turn pro then they got to leave the reservation and kind of be out on their own? Do you think some of that has to do with it or no?
I do think that. I mean, because res life is tough, right? If you ever heard that expression before, but there's like taking that next step into going to a professional athlete, right? You have to make a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of that is leaving your family behind. I wouldn't say leave them behind, but you have to move away in order to get like that exposure I was talking about, right? So you have to leave and get to a spot where you're advancing your career. So I know it's tough. Like I left a few times, right? I went to Duluth and Miami and stuff like that, but no, I've always wanted to come back home, to be quite honest. So I think that is a challenge.
Do you think some of it is a trust issue? Because Native Americans are so close with their family and their friends on the res that they learn how to trust each other within that circle. And by them leaving, they're out on their own. Now they got to trust promoters they don't know, managers they don't know, other people in the industry that they don't have a strong relationship with. You know what I mean? But on the reservation, they have so many people around them that they trust. Do you think some of it is a trust issue too?
Like personally, just speaking, yeah, I think it is. That I'll be honest, like we don't trust a lot of people. At least I'm just speaking on behalf of myself, right? So like that trust factor, because like, yeah, not getting down political, but like just the rep we have with other people, it's not a very good rep, right? we live on reservations because we were put there, right? So like that trust factor is like embedded in us. We got to break that cycle if we want to get more and more fighters out there. But I do think that is a factor. Yeah. So
Okay.
you said it perfectly. Yeah.
No, I mean I'm just because that's what I'm thinking. I mean, why else? Because you got so many talented Native American fighters on reservations, and I've seen some of these guys in the ring too, and I'm like, why are none of these guys turning pro? There's got to be more of a reason than you know what I mean. But then see, you got black fighters that come out of like bad neighborhoods like Philly, New York, California, things like that. Spanish fighters, the same thing, that come out of Mexico. And then I say to myself, okay, then how come the Native Americans can't do the same thing when they're. But that's why I think because you guys are such a tight knit group on some of them reservations that everybody there you've grown up with, your family, your friends. So once you step out of there, it's like you're in a world all by yourself.
Right. And then when you leave, obviously it's like a whole different world, right?
So
So
do you
it's
think
tough.
so? I mean, and I don't know this, so this is a question that I'm gonna ask for you because obviously you've lived on reservations, so I don't want to assume. Do any of the people on the reservations, if somebody does try to leave, do they sometimes like look at them in a bad way, like, hey, you're leaving us even though you're trying to succeed, you're turning your back on us? Do they ever get that backlash? Are they afraid of that?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, obviously it's just like the worry, right? Because you're leaving. But like, at least from my experiences, any of my relatives are always supportive. Like, we want the best for you. We want the best in your life. So I don't think it has like a backlash of like, oh, you're betraying us or anything like that. It's just more
Okay.
of like, I'm worried for you out in that world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's why I asked because I'm just so curious why we don't have more pro Native American fighters. I mean, obviously we have in Minnesota. We have Cayman. We have over in Wisconsin. We have oh my God, I just forgot his name. How did I just forget his name?
Kamanachek.
Oliveira.
Yep.
And who'd you just say?
Uh, Kamanachek. I don't know if
Yep,
I'm saying
and
that right,
and then
but yep.
we used to have JJ Corn.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that they're not out there, but to me it doesn't make sense that there isn't more out there.
Yeah, we just gotta get the promoters to give us the call. I mean, give some calls out. We'll get
Well,
you
but
out there.
that's what I mean is look where a lot of the fights are held.
Yep.
They're held in casinos. So
Yep.
how do we not have these casinos with a lot of Native American fighters on the cards because they're not turning pro? There seems to be a disconnect somewhere in there.
Right, and you know, like trust is a big factor, like you said before, and yeah, just leaving, that's a tough for anybody, but especially natives because I can't speak for any other race besides my own, right? But we're so tight that it's tough.
Okay. All right, question 4. Do you have any hobbies outside of the sport of boxing?
Yeah, I think I just mentioned it. So,
Y-
like, yeah, I'm an avid golfer now. I'm not very good, but I'm decent enough. But yeah, we just made playoffs for our golf league, so we got that starting next week. But I just picked that up like 2.5 years ago. I was actually teaching, like I ran a youth program, and like I was bringing them out golfing. I was like, I better learn how to golf too. So yeah, golf is a big one. Personal training is a big one. So I love like just helping people, like quite honestly, and like what's the way I know how, speaking or telling people how to live right. I also do motivational speeches. Like you can probably attest to all that too. Like
Yep.
that's a satisfaction. Um, yep, especially like dealing with some of the it's like if you want to be a good motivational speaker, in my opinion, is like you almost have to live it a little bit if you're going to preach on it, right? So I do a lot of like suicidal like prevention speeches. So that's another hobby of mine. And then
Wow.
obviously just loving my family. That's the biggest one, right? Because when you lose so much through addiction, alcoholism, like you really know what you care about.
Oh, I agree there. All right, question 5. Do you have any boxing superstitions?
Yeah, I do actually. So this is it's been from when I was fighting amateurs still, so 14. But Um, Besides my hair and my eyebrows, like I shave off all like my arm hair and leg hair and stuff like that. I don't know why, but that's like I just get rid of it all because that's what I've always done, and it's worked out for me well. So in the past, so I was like, oh, I gotta keep doing it. Gotta keep doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, question 6. Who was the hardest puncher you've ever faced in the ring in a fight or sparring?
Uh, in the ring, I guess in an actual match, Mauricio Fort. That was back when he was training with Mayweather, right? That was one hell of a puncher. I'll tell you that much. Like he's underrated in his power. Um, but as a sparring match, uh, Glenn Cobb Johnson was pretty hard puncher. I'll say that much. So kind of a
Okay.
two-parter, I guess.
Yeah, he took out Roy Jones, right?
Yep, he did. Yep. So yeah, he was training me for a little bit back there, back when I was first, 15, 12 years ago, whatever it was. But yep, he can punch. There's a reason why he was a world champion. So
Okay. So now you've touched on this next question a little bit, but I want you to go more into an answer for us. Question 7. Have you ever been a volunteer working with the youth, elderly, or disabled?
oh, can you repeat that one more time? So I can catch that first part.
So question 7 is, have you ever been a volunteer working with the youth, the elderly, or the disabled?
Yeah, I've worked with all three, I guess. Most recently, I was volunteering. I just went to, I don't know if you've been catching my Facebook or anything like that, but I just got back from Canada. So the Native American Indigenous Games, that was in Canada this year, but it's like the Olympics for Native Americans. It's held every 3 years. So this one was in or in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So, they asked me to, so I've been like hosting a lot of the tryouts and stuff like that. And I have like a basketball background, but they asked me to coach the 14U girls team. So, obviously I jumped on that, all volunteer, but it was pretty amazing to see. Like there was, 7,000 Native Americans in like one arena at one point. It was so cool. And like I have nothing but like, I don't know, admiration for like the opportunity. But that was the most recent like volunteer work I just did.
Okay, so you're a basketball coach too.
Yeah, like kind of jack of all trades, I guess.
Shoo, okay. All right, question 8. If you could box in a celebrity boxing match and have as your opponent any actor or any athlete, who would you choose as your opponent?
Actor, athlete. Does that have to be present day, or can I say a past one?
No, pass. It don't matter. Just
All right.
if you had a chance to box somebody other than a boxer.
Probably Arnold Schwarzenegger, just because he's a big motherfucker. So it's like, all right, let's try this guy out. It's like he can't be that fast, right? So,
Wow.
and plus,
Okay.
I look up to him like as far as like weightlifting now, right? So it'd be kind of just fun to see what like old Arnold, like big armed Arnold, like what does that actually feel like getting hit by?
Wow. Okay. All right. Question 9. Seeing that you live in Minnesota, we all know these winters here, or you either love them or you hate them. It's just the way it is. Do you enjoy doing winter activities as far as like snowboarding, snowmobiling, ice fishing, ice skating, any type of winter activities?
Yeah, so we actually live. So we live in Pine City, and we live right on a lake over here. So, before my kids got into hockey, I say that, but like I'd ice fish all the time. But now that my kids are in hockey, both kids, like every weekend is dedicated to bringing them to hockey tournaments here, bringing them to a game there. So a lot of my winter is like actually quite busy, just because any hockey parent would know, like you're on the go all the time. Like there's no break in the winter time. So, but when I do get that free time, yeah, I love to go ice fishing.
Okay. Question 10. If you could be any animal for one day, what animal would you be?
Definitely an eagle. I'd love to be, just flying up there, just majestic, and you're huge, and you're top of the food chain there. Like, it'd be really cool. Plus, like with Native Americans, like we hold eagles to a high regard, right? 'Cause that's our relatives up there. But so it'd just be, maybe one day I will get there, whenever I do take that journey on. But Yeah, that'd be cool to have it for just one day and kind of come back to my body, you know.
Okay. Question 11. Who was your favorite cartoon character or animated character growing up?
Uh, Probably Goku from Dragon Ball Z. I mean, do you watch those shows at all by
No,
chance?
I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, just because like his work ethic was so, you know, like he always had to get better and better and better and better, and I always like respected that and admired that, and you know he always won at the end. But I mean that was a bonus. But
All right, question 12. Do you have any hidden talents?
hidden talent. Oh, I play guitar, so I don't know if that's counted as like a hidden talent or not.
Yeah, because I'm
But
sure not a lot of people probably didn't know that.
yeah, it's just something like, again, like I keep straying, like going back. I've been so 4 years. That's another part of my like you try new things to kind of occupy your time, like when you're early in recovery, right? But I had this guitar for how long? Let's try it. So then like YouTube's amazing thing. Like when I was a kid, it wasn't around, but it's here now. So learning how to play guitar, it's like it takes some time and effort, but like they have those videos for you to learn. So I've been playing. I'm not nothing great, but it's fun. It's really fun to actually. I would consider that my hidden talent, I guess. And I love to cook too. So if that's a hidden talent too, because like I love like Food Network shows and all that stuff. So I watch them all the time. So I consider myself a decent cook, anyways.
Yeah, well, both of those things are kind of therapeutic too.
Yeah, 100%. That is actually the main reason why I got into like both of those. Just like that wellness, that mental wellness and stuff like that. It's like, all right, we got slow yourself down a little bit. Let's do something and just play a little bit.
All right, question 13. Can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Helpful, energetic, resilient, I would say.
All right. Question 14. Where's the best place you've ever traveled to?
Yeah, most recently we just went to, I think it was in March, for my wife's work. She works for Grand Casino Hinckley, but we got the opportunity to go to St. Martin, and we went there for a week, and I guess in the Caribbean and everything like that. And I've never been never been to out of the country, and I got to go twice this year out of the country, so it's been awesome. But anyways, going to St. Martin, it was like everything you would imagine. The white beaches with like the clear blue water, and that was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, question 15. Do you have any traditions in your family?
Yeah, we do actually. So every Sunday we go sweat lodge. So that's like a ceremony for Native Americans. So that's been going on for quite a while. So besides that, that's like the biggest one. But we always get together on holidays. I think probably everybody's like that. But like we always come together as like a family, no matter what the holiday is. Like we always get together. So I guess that would be like our traditions.
Okay. Question 16. Are you artistic in any way with your hands other than boxing, as far as like building things, painting, drawing, photography, stuff like that?
So like a handyman, I'm not like a handyman at all. I don't know how to work on cars. Like I can change my oil. That's about it. Draw, like I used to do that like for therapy as well. Like try to draw, but I was not very good. Like my daughter's a really good drawer, so I kind of like try to watch her and like, how do you do that? Because she makes like anime like drawings and stuff like that. But the only thing I'm actually really good at with my hands is like decently is boxing one, but playing the guitar, I guess I use my hands for that. So, but like I'm not a very artistic person, not at all. But
Okay. All right, question 17. What's your best boxing memory in your career?
Trying to think. I think if I had to like pick one, I mean, because there's been like a lot that I think going to national silver gloves for the first time, and then like I think I took second that year, but still just making it up, like making it to that level, that's gonna live with me forever because was the first time like really been out of the state and everything like that, and I was in like Lawrence, Kansas, and like just seeing like that amount of boxers in one area, that was like pretty surreal. And then like the guy I lost to, like like that had that little top on it. Alan Lawrence is who I lost to, so I don't know if you remember that name, but I think he was the number one contender for quite a while, like recently. But like that's who I lost to, and I was like, man, that's like add that little sugar on top of it, you know what I mean? But it's just cool seeing like that many people, like in one area that have the same passion for you.
Okay. Let's see. Question 18. So if you had to be a clown for a kid's birthday party or any type of party, what would your clown name be?
uh, that's, I guess Tozo, I guess would be it. He's got to start with a T, right? Because my name is T, so maybe Tozo.
Tozo the clown. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's an original. All right. Question 19. Now this one's even worse. So if you could be a piece of fruit, what piece of fruit would you be?
Well, I think it's a lemon. I love lemons and stuff like that. So like, and like just that sourness. But I don't consider myself a sour person. But like, just being being a lemon would be pretty cool. Just like making people pucker up a little bit.
All right. Question 20. This is your last question. If you could have dinner with any 4 athletes, alive or dead, who would you pick to be at your dinner table?
4 alive or dead? Any 4? Manny Pacquiao. So my mom's Filipino, so I grew up watching Manny Pacquiao like my whole life, right? So he would definitely be up there. Randy Moss, just because I'm a Minnesota Vikings diehard. I would love to sit there and talk with him. I got 2 more. There's so many. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Okay, yeah, that's
Just
a
because
good
like
table.
that's greatness. Yep.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking time to come on the show and do the 20 random questions. Before we go, I gotta ask you: are we ever gonna see you in the ring again?
I don't know, man. It's still up. I'm still actively training and stuff like that. So, like, someone shoot me a holler. We'll talk.
Okay, so you're not willing to say that you're done yet, because people thought you were done once and you came back 10 years later. So
yeah, I don't want to close the book on anything, but I know I'm very busy right now.
okay.
Yeah.
So, but you actually, we didn't talk about this at all. But you actually are you a boxing coach? You're working with the kids in the gym though, right?
Yes, correct. Yep. So that's, I guess if you would consider that volunteer work too. I mean, I don't get paid for it, so. But yeah, actively, yeah. So.
Okay. Do you guys thing to say to your fans before we go?
I appreciate everybody, just rooting me on, everything like that. Going through my journey, reading my stories and everything like that. There's hope for everybody. I would say that, and like, no matter who they are, like, root for good. You know what I mean? Root for the best out of a person, and you will see the best.
All right. And with that, the truth has spoken.